Florida has a ton of different wildlife, everything from gators to panthers to different birds and fish, different reptiles. There really is something for every nature lover to enjoy. However, today I want to showcase snakes. More specifically, I want to talk about the 6 venomous snakes of Florida and why I think each of them is super cool. We'll be starting the list with the Cottonmouth / water moccasin, a snake that goes by 2 nicknames. Water moccasin, it earned that nickname because it is the most aquatic venomous snake in Florida. They are really good swimmers. Fun fact, I think all of the snakes in Florida will kind of swim above the water. They'll kind of float on it rather than submerge themselves like a lot of water snakes do. So if you see a snake floating on the water, there's a pretty good chance it is venomous. But yeah, they're really good swimmers, and of course they have the nickname Cottonmouth because they have a white lining inside their mouths that they will proudly display when they feel threatened. Speaking of feeling threatened, there's kind of a misconception that cottonmouths will chase you. It's actually a myth. I made a video on it a long time ago. It was one of my first videos talking about reptile myths. A lot of people think that these guys will chase you. I promise you, they do not want to chase you. They don't even want to bite you. That's why they display their mouths, so you can get away from them and they wouldn't have to waste their precious venom on a pathetic human. Any instance of a cottonmouth, quote unquote, chasing you is probably just the snake trying to run for shelter because he's freaked out that a giant human is after him. Looks for shelter. Shelter just happens to be, you know, up right across from you, kind of behind you, so they have to get through you to get there. And then people just, you know, think that they're chasing them. I promise you, they are not. The cottonmouths are one of the most common venomous snakes here in Florida, at least here in South Florida. They grow to about 2 to 4 feet long. They are relatively heavy-bodied. As juveniles, they'll be more of a lighter, kind of tannish color with red undertones. Their pattern is really well defined. You can really see that bullseye pattern. But as they grow older, they become a more black, almost uniform black color, and they lose the patterning. As juveniles, they also rock a kind of greenish to yellowish kind of tail that they will use to attract prey. So for example, the tail looks a little bit like a worm. A frog gets near it, tries to eat it. Cottonmouth has an easy meal. The technique is called coddle-luring. It is very common among, not very common, but there's other snakes that do it. For example, my green tree pythons also do it. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun to watch and observe. A lot of people get the cottonmouths confused with just regular banded water snakes. That was something I kind of had a difficult time doing when I was going out herping and I had just started. After a while, you can kind of tell the difference right away, but if you're just starting off, the easiest way to tell them apart is twofold. Number one, the banded water snakes will have labial lines on their lips, and the cottonmouths will not. Additionally, the cottonmouths will also have a black band across their face, kind of like a Zorro mask, where that is absent in the banded water snake. As far as the venom, it is cytotoxic and hemotoxic, meaning it will break down the cells and the tissues. It'll also break down blood cells, preventing the blood from clotting. So definitely not a pleasant experience if you get bit. However, it's definitely one of probably the better snakes to get bit by here in Florida. There have been fatalities, but typically if you can, you know, access treatment, you know, relatively soon, you should be fine. Their venom really is not one of the worst here in Florida, but nevertheless, definitely one I wouldn't want to get bit by. Before we keep going, I'd like to give a shout out to all of my Patreon members. You guys are the absolute best. Your support means the world to me, and I truly appreciate every single one of you guys there. Anyone that's watching this video and has made it this far, I love you guys as well. Make sure to hit that like button if you are enjoying it. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I make videos on anything and everything reptiles, and I take video suggestions straight from the comments. So if you have something you'd like to see, make sure to leave it down below. But without further ado, guys, let's get back to the list. The first of 3 rattlesnakes we'll be talking about today is the timber or canebrake rattlesnake. These are 2 names for the same species. Typically they're called the timber rattlesnakes in the northern part of the range and the canebrake rattlesnake in the southern part of the range. These guys unfortunately are not found in South Florida, but they are found in northern parts of northern Florida and some of the states above it. Also, yes, I am not in my typical recording reptile room. I am actually currently in Italy. I started filming my video, didn't have time to finish it. I'm gonna be recording some segments now. I honestly don't think I'm gonna have time to finish making the rest of this video here in Italy because I have a wedding in about 35 minutes. I am obviously gonna change, but yeah, I'm in Italy, but I still wanted to record because I don't know, it's just a fun video to make. And honestly, it's just, I don't know, it's just miss being around reptiles and stuff. I've seen like 2 lizards here this whole trip, but that being said, there will be a vlog at the end of this video dedicated to just Italy. I was gonna make it its own video, but honestly, I don't think many people would be interested. So if you are interested in that, just stay till the end. There will be a short vlog on my time here in Italy. But regardless, let's go back to the timber / canebrake rattlesnake. This is the second largest venomous snake in Florida. They can reach lengths of 4 to 6 feet, though occasionally, on very rare occasions actually, they can reach up to 7, and with some reports of even 8 feet, but that would be just unreal. The rattles are made of keratin, just like with other rattlesnakes. It's the same material that your fingernails are made out of. Fun fact, it's a myth that you can actually tell the age of a rattlesnake by counting the individual rattles. Unfortunately, this is not true whatsoever. They do get a new rattle every time they shed. However, snakes shed at varying rates. So you could have a 1-year-old rattlesnake that's only shed 3 times, and you could have one that's shed 5 or 6 times. On top of that, they tend to lose their rattles, so it's not at all a reliable measure for estimating their age. Like I mentioned, these guys possess a wide range in the eastern part of the United States, starting in North Florida and extending a few states upward. Their color scheme can vary by what region they're in, but more interestingly than that, their venom potency can actually also vary by the region that they are found in. So some canebrakes will have the hemotoxic venom, which we've already talked about, that will, you know, attack your blood and your muscle tissues, and others will possess neurotoxic venom, meaning it will attack the central nervous system, I think also the peripheral nervous system, and can even cause paralysis of the breathing muscles, such as your lungs. That is a horrible type of venom that I would absolutely hate to get bitten by. But to make it even worse, some canebrakes actually possess both types of venom. So hemotoxic and neurotoxic, that's probably the worst canebrake variety to get bitten by. Like cottonmouths, these snakes possess keeled scales, meaning that the scales have a ridge that kind of goes down the center of it, giving it a much rougher look and feel to the snake. Adults will typically feed on a variety of rodents such as rats, mice, chipmunks, and squirrels. This is another type of pit viper, meaning that they are excellent at detecting warm-blooded prey in low lighting conditions. Like many venomous snakes, these guys tend to attack their prey, inject them full of venom, quickly release, wait until the venom kicks in, and then enjoy themselves an easy meal. The next snake on our list is the copperhead. This snake can be found throughout the southern and eastern United States, and just like the timber rattlesnake, these guys are not found in South Florida. However, they are in parts of North Florida. This is a relatively small snake, typically ranging from 2 to 3 feet as adults. These guys are often mistaken for cottonmouths, specifically juvenile cottonmouths, and honestly, it's pretty understandable. Both juvenile cottonmouths and copperheads will have a very similar kind of color scheme. Of course, the cottonmouths will turn a really dark brown to even black as adults, but when they are younger, their colors are very similar. On top of that, they're from the same genus, so they have the same kind of body structure and head shape. And on top of that, they both have that greenish to yellowish kind of tail that they use for cuddle luring. The way that I tell them apart, and honestly probably the easiest way to tell them apart, is to remember that the cottonmouth, no matter whether it's a juvenile or an adult, will always have that Zorro mask, that kind of black banding that goes across their eyes. So it kind of makes it so that their eyes are kind of difficult to spot, whereas the copperhead does not have that band and their eyes tend to really stick out. Sometimes they'll have, I think they have like a creamish kind of color under their eyes, However, that's not the same as, you know, a black band. If for whatever reason you want to identify it and you can't see the face, another way you can tell them apart is actually by their pattern. The Cottonmouths have that bullseye pattern. You know, it's kind of like a circle with like a dot in the middle. However, you kind of really have to try to see it, especially on older Cottonmouths. Whereas with Copperheads, their pattern tends to be a lot cleaner. Not only that, instead of a bullseye pattern, they kind of have almost like a Hershey kiss pattern. It's really, really cool. Like, it looks very similar to a Hershey kiss. It's the coolest thing ever, especially if you're looking at it from the side. If you're looking at it from the top, then it's kind of like the Hershey kisses on each side kind of combined together, and it gives it almost like an hourglass appearance. It's really, really cool. These snakes are very common. In fact, they are responsible for the most venomous bites in the United States. However, the good news is this is also probably the least venomous snake in Florida and the least venomous of all pit vipers. They can kill you, so obviously I recommend seeking immediate medical treatment if you are bitten. However, the mortality rate is only about 1 to 2%, even if you don't receive antivenom. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, all right, well, I'm not gonna, you know, go to a hospital, spend probably tens of thousands of dollars on a medical bill, because as we all know, antivenom is extremely, extremely expensive. You know, for a snake that I have a 99% chance of, you know, surviving. And guess what? You are absolutely right. I get it. I probably would not, you know, try to get antivenom for it. However, most of the times if you do, you know, go to a hospital or something, they'll usually just treat you for the pain and the swelling. It's not like, you know, you have to get antivenom just because you're there. So it's still a good idea. And, you know, if you're unlucky enough to have like a really bad reaction to the venom to the point that you do need antivenom, well, you're at least already at the hospital rather than, you know, just sitting around waiting for it to get really bad and then going to the hospital. That said, all venom could be potentially fatal. Individual immune systems will react different to venoms. So someone that could be perfectly fine, or not perfectly fine, because it is still an extremely painful bite that I've heard is like, just feels like a really burning sensation. But the point is, someone else could, you know, just experience a lot of pain. Well, for someone else, it could be deadly. So don't mess with it. Fun fact, almost every single venomous bite, not every, but a good majority of venomous snake bites are due to people fucking with the snake, trying to mess with it. So as long as you're not, you know, an idiot harassing snakes, you should be fine. Like a lot of the snakes that we'll be talking about today, the venom is hemotoxic, so you'll experience the same symptoms that I've already, you know, discussed, but likely at a less severe level. Next, let's talk about the Pygmy Rattlesnake. This is the smallest venomous snake in Florida and the smallest rattlesnake in the world. Adults will typically only grow to 1 to 2 feet. And as babies, they're so small that they're barely bigger than a quarter. The term pygmy is actually used to refer to a ethnic group of people. It can be various groups, not one specific group, but a group of people that are just, you know, like they're small. I think the average adult male height has to be 4'11" or under to be considered a pygmy. So that is how this snake got its name. These snakes can be found throughout Florida and throughout parts of the southeastern United States. In my opinion, these are the most beautiful venomous snakes here in Florida, and they're supposed to be fairly common. However, I have not encountered one yet. I know when I do, I'm going to absolutely lose my shit. I think they're so freaking cool, guys. The venom is hemotoxic, so again, it's gonna be a lot of the same stuff we've already talked about. It's just gonna destroy your flesh. At the time I am recording this, there have been no reported deaths. Hopefully that does not change. It's probably due to how small they are. So even though they have a more potent venom than, for example, a Copperhead, which has, you know, killed a few people, they can't inject as much of it, leading to a much higher survival rate. That being said, it'll still hurt like a bitch, so do not go and get bitten by one, and you could still lose a hand or a foot or something, so don't get bit. The next snake on our list is the Eastern coral snake. This is a small snake that reaches about 2 to 3 feet in length. It's the second smallest venomous snake in Florida. The range is obviously throughout Florida and a few of the neighboring states. Good God, nice fucking jump. That's why I kept that open. He comes out and he's super cool, but when I have this camera on, he holy shit, that was so cool. He gets super freaked out with the like the lens. I talked to a few of my friends that have monitors. They all tell me the same thing, that the lens like freaks him out. So I knew that wasn't gonna last long, so that's why I left this thing open for him to have the option to leave if he freaks out. But he wanted to come out, but then as soon as he saw the camera, he was like, fuck that. Anyways, let me get another snake real quick. I don't remember how far we got, but I'm just gonna start over, but I am gonna keep that part in there because someone asked me the other day like why I don't take out Dragonite when I film these videos. That is exactly why. He's super social. Literally, I'll open the door and he'll jump out at me sometimes to fucking hang out. Like, he's a cool ass animal. Takes a lot to build that kind of relationship with a Kimberly Rock monitor, but he's cool as hell. He'll eat out of my hand and everything. But yeah, the reason I don't take him out is exactly that. He fucking hates the camera. He's terrified of it. Today he really wanted to come out. I knew I was filming, so I figured I'd give him a shot, but yeah, that's what happened. We have McFlurry now, my California king snake, who I feel like I haven't taken out in a while. Yeah, he's pretty big. If you guys want to know more about Dragonite, I do have a couple videos on Kimberly Rock monitors. You can check those out. But as I was saying, Eastern coral snakes, damn it. They're the second smallest venomous snake in Florida. They range about 2 to 3 feet. They're found throughout Florida and a few of the neighboring states, a little bit to the north. These guys often get confused with the scarlet snake and the scarlet king snake, which are two non-venomous snakes here in Florida that mimic the coral snake in order to scare off either people or potential predators by having them think that they are in fact venomous when they are not. Of course, there's that famous rhyme. There's a few variants of it. Essentially, it's like red touch yellow, you're a dead fellow, red touch black, venom lack, something like that. Basically a way to remember the difference between them. I hope you guys can't hear the crickets that Dragonite didn't fucking eat today. Because I gave him too many eggs instead. But yeah, that rhyme is a good way for specifically the eastern coral snake. However, you cannot use that for all coral snakes. There's different coral snakes in different countries, different states that do look different than the eastern coral snake, so that rhyme would not apply. Regardless, I never liked the rhyme. I always got it confused. I always thought it was easier to just remember that the eastern coral snake will have a black head, while those two other snakes will not. There's no need to complicate it. I don't know who the fuck decided it was a good idea to have a rhyme when you can just tell people, hey, black head, it's a coral snake, not a black head, not a coral snake. Like, that's how I remember it. But yeah, the eastern coral snakes, they like to hang out underground and under leaf litter. They eat other snakes, and I know a lot of snakes, eat other snakes, but these guys like really tend to enjoy it, as well as eating frogs. And unlike all the other snakes on this list, these guys are not pit vipers. In fact, they are elapids, the same family as cobras. Some of the differences between elapids and pit vipers are that, number one, obviously, the elapids do not have the heat pits that the pit vipers have. Elapids also tend to have circular pupils and less triangular heads. And they have fixed fangs as opposed to the retractable fangs that the pit vipers have. And on top of that, tend to have more neurotoxic venom than anything else, whereas pit vipers tend to have more hemotoxic venom. A lot of people say that this is the most venomous snake in the United States. I, however, tend to disagree. It kind of depends on what you consider the most venomous. Drop for drop, their venom is the most toxic out of, any other animal. However, they are so small that they really cannot even inject you with so much venom. In fact, oftentimes their fangs can't even get through your clothes. A lot of the times when they do bite you, and it tends to happen a lot to small children that see the snake and then just pick it up, because it's a colorful snake. It doesn't really look that threatening unless you know what it is. And it also happens to a lot of people when they're either gardening or doing something like that. But again, they just do not pump a ton of venom for it to really be not that it's not dangerous. It's just I wouldn't consider it the most venomous snake because of that fact, even though technically their venom is the most toxic. There's only been one fatality in the US in the last 50 years. The cool thing about their venom though, and I mean, I don't know if it's cool, but I was talking to someone that was bitten by a Eastern coral snake, and they told me that when it was essentially they were gardening, or like they weren't gardening, they were like picking weeds, they felt a little puncture. They saw the coral snake, but they assumed that it was a dry bite because they didn't feel anything. They wasn't swelling, there was nothing. The bite happened around noon. They obviously monitored it, kept an eye on it. Nothing happened. They went to sleep, and then at like 4 a.m., so this was what, 16, 17 hours later, they woke up in pain. Like the venom was starting to kick in. They went to a hospital, they were treated, they had to stay there for a few days. Like the venom was fucking them up. And they survived, but I mean, obviously they told the story, but yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like it's just, I mean, if the venom takes that long to kick in, like, can you really call yourself the most venomous snake in the US? I don't know. Feel free to debate it down in the comment section. I know Will Exotic is probably gonna have something to say about it. I think this is like his favorite venomous snake or something for some reason. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the title of most venomous should belong to the Eastern coral snake or to the snake that we are about to talk about right now? We're gonna finish off this list with my personal favorite, the Eastern Diamondback. This is of course another pit viper, as I mentioned. This is the largest rattlesnake species in the entire world, and it's the largest venomous snake in the entire United States. They average 5 to 7 feet in length as adults, but can get as large as 8 feet. These snakes can be found throughout all of Florida and in some parts of North Carolina, Mississippi, and Louisiana. They are a crepuscular species, which means that they are the most active during dawn and dusk. They prefer drier areas, but can also be found in wetlands, such as the Everglades. In my opinion, this is just one of the most beautiful snakes in the entire world, and they just have so much fucking aura. Like, that's the best way I can describe it, is they just have aura, man. Like, I will never ever forget the first time I saw one of these guys in the wild. It was just an absolutely unreal experience, one I will never ever forget. Till this day, it's my favorite snake that I've encountered in the wild. And then a few months after that, I saw another one with, you know, my good friend Will Exotic. We actually rescued that one off a highway while we were herping for 24 hours straight, mind you. I'm gonna link that video at the end of this one, because till this day, it's probably my favorite video, and it was so slept on. That video did so poorly. But yeah, Eastern Diamondbacks, man, they're really incredible. Sorry, I got carried away talking about them. I forgot I had to tell you guys more about them. These guys are often a kind of brownish, grayish color, and they're easily distinguishable by the large black diamonds on their back, hence the name Eastern Diamondback. These guys like to eat large rats, birds, and a few other animals, but they love rabbits. It's by far their favorite meal. Alright, now let's talk about their venom. It is both hemotoxic and neurotoxic, so just kind of like, remember the timber rattlesnakes, how certain localities can have both? Kind of like that, so you'll have the same symptoms, except they will be more severe or intense for a couple of reasons. Number one, their venom is simply more toxic. Drop for drop, it's just more toxic. And secondly, since the Eastern Diamondbacks are larger, they tend to have really big venom glands, so they can, not only is that venom more toxic, but they can pump more of it into you. So yeah, not a fun snake to be bitten by at all. This is a very lethal snake. They have a 30% fatality rate if you do not receive antivenom within the first 2 hours of getting bitten. I know that sounds like not that intimidating. When I was little, I thought like, you get bit by a venomous snake, it's either you're dead or you get help within 5 minutes. As an adult, finding out that's not the case is kind of not disappointing, but like, it makes it a little bit less cool, I guess. But yeah, 30% fatality rate if you do not get antivenom within 2 hours. which may not seem that impressive, but when you consider that, for example, you know, another snake on this list was like 1% fatality rate if you never receive anti-venom, suddenly this does look a bit more impressive. Do you guys want to know a fun fact? Well, it's not even so much a fun fact. Honestly, it's pretty sad actually, but rattlesnakes had evolved those rattles in order to warn kind of like a lot of hoofed animals, right? Hoofed animals that, hey, I'm here, don't step on me because, you know, you may step on me, but you'll get bit and I'm probably gonna kill you, right? So they had evolved those rattles to avoid being stepped on, and now they are evolving to not rattle due to the fact that when a rattlesnake rattles, they're doing it to warn you, right? Like, hey, I'm venomous, maybe, you know, stay away from me, I don't want to hurt you, right? The rattles are there for us. They're doing us a favor by rattling. Now they've evolved to not rattle because the snakes that do rattle and warn people like, hey, I'm here, tend to get killed by all these ignorant motherfuckers that think it's cool to kill snakes. I have no respect for you if you are one of those people. There's no reason to be killing snakes, but the irony in all of this is that the snakes that rattle tend to get killed off and therefore are not able to pass on their genetics, whereas the snakes that are simply quiet tend to, you know, not be detected and therefore not killed. The irony in all of this is that there are more bites now because rattlesnakes are not rattling, so people are accidentally stepping on them and then getting bit. So, way to go, humans. Another giant fucking L because you don't know how to respect wildlife and nature. But I want to end this video on a good note, so I don't even know like what to say after saying that. Sorry, that just like depressed me, man. Like I really hate people sometimes. But let me know what your favorite venomous snake of all time is down in the comment section. If you made it this far, you're gonna check out this cool ass Italy vlog now. So let's get into it. Bro, it's the best juice I've ever fucking had. Alright, we're here with my dog Lenny. He wanted an orange juice. The lady insisted he get the, what did she call it?
The Sicily Special.
The Sicily Special. Alright, try it and give us a rating.
Oh wow, it's really good.
It's gas?
Yeah, it's like it's orange juice, but it's like
Bro,
really
it's
good.
red.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
not
red
orange juice, it's something else.
It tastes really good though.
Hell
I don't
yeah,
know how to
man.
explain
so fucking cool. Let me put my hand next to it for size. Like,
It's gonna bite you.
it's not gonna bite me. Like, bro, it's a big ass ant. Cool as hell. Anyway, this is what our hotel area looks like in the morning. You wanna say hi to the camera?
Yeah. Hi.
Anyway, there's a lot of cacti here, like different species too. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know if these are considered cacti. I don't know much about them, but they're next to other cacti, so I would assume so. They're really cool. Like, this is kind of made me a cacti appreciator. What?
Look at the cat just staring at me. That's so scary.
Where? Oh shit. Yeah, there's also a ton of cats in Italy. Just so fucking cool.
He literally left.
They don't like you. What's up, guys? We're on our way to get shit, my water bottle. We're on our way to get some pizza. Stay tuned. You're about to see some fucking photos for our food in the next slide or videos.
Ciao.
Something pizza related coming soon. Let's go! That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section below which of these snakes you think is your favorite, or which one you'd least like to get bit by. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But that's going to do it for today, guys. As always, thanks for watching and enjoy your reptiles.